ESPNcricinfo is with a delighted Russel Arnold. Sri Lanka have won their first test on South African soil. Russel, how important is this victory?
Oh, it's very important in all sense, especially when you consider where Sri Lanka's cricket is. We were looking to the future with nowhere to go, and this win, which comes from nowhere after the performance in the first test and the few months before, and all the troubles that a lot of people have been talking about. It's amazing. It gives us fresh hope, a look to the future. Youngsters have come to the party, and there are ways that you can win test matches. Of course, we don't have the legends as Muralidharan's, but still, as a team with the senior players standing out, there's still a way. You need disciplined efforts, of course, and that was what was pleasing to see. They needed a lot of heart to pick themselves up, which they did, and they stuck to their plans right through the test match. Once you get ahead and you ask questions of the opposition, you never know what can happen, what pressure can do. And that's what cricket is all about. Put the pressure on the opposition and give yourself some chance. You fight hard early to get that extra lead, and then from there on you take it as it comes. So that's what Sri Lanka did. Amazing win against all odds. No one gave them any chance, neither did I, but they proved everyone wrong.
Russel, there's been a lot of talk about the surface and how perhaps it was a more even pitch to play on than Centurion was. Graham Smith even said it may have favoured the Sri Lankan bowling. What do you think?
Well, I think it did give Sri Lanka a chance. It wasn't as one-sided as Centurion or Supersport Park, but nevertheless that's what on offer, and that's what you can take, and that's what I'd like to see, because a lot of teams, when Sri Lanka travel, try to take the spin out of the equation. Of course, Sri Lanka's, they control games with spin, and we know they're a bit more comfortable playing spinners and when the ball is a little slower. But this pitch did have bounce, and they had to work really hard. They stuck to their game plan, and also Kingsmead's not been a good ground to South Africa, but that doesn't come into the equation, because at the end of the day it matters what you do on that day, and Sri Lanka were the much better side. It was the same conditions right along. Yes, they took advantage of it. Yes, they're a little bit more comfortable in these conditions, but yet you can't take anything away from them.
Let's talk about the batting. 2 centuries, one for Tilan Samarawira, one for Kumar Sangakkara, and a fantastic debut for the young wicketkeeper Dinesh Chandimal. Do you think that the techniques have adapted enough to play in South Africa?
Well, I wouldn't go too much into techniques. It's all about the mental aspect. It's about going out there for the fight, and that's what they did. Got the South Africans to play at the Sri Lankans. And Chandimal, I mean, what I know of him is he goes after the bowling. He did so, but he was also ready to bat for the other batsmen, the senior man, and build partnerships. To me, he's the man of the match. He's the inspiration that rubbed off on the rest, and the confidence lifted itself up. If not, you look at the 2 test matches, 156 for 5 at Supersport Park, all out 180. Same here, 162 for 5, but got to 338 on the back of that partnership, and the tail adding a few runs. That's what you need, fight, hanging in there and creating chances. So Chandimal was my man of the match, because Samarawira, Sangakkara, they've been around for a long time, and I expect this from them. They did it in style. Sangakkara too built that lead in the second innings. Also Chandimal contributed, but we needed some inspiration, some shining light, and I think Chandimal was that shining light.
Sri Lanka's bowlers, many people said they couldn't take 20 wickets. They were just racked by bowling injuries, and they called 2 people up who they didn't even use, and they ended up doing remarkably well. What do you attribute that to? Well,
I think you need consistency. I think we got decent players, we got decent talent, but of course the problem for Rangana Herath and the rest are, I mean, people like Muralidharan has come once in a while, and they've been judged straight away at that level. But these guys are good bowlers. They can create pressure in different ways. Maybe not freakish, maybe not impact players, but yet as a group there are ways you can win matches. There are ways teams can do things, and that's what we saw here, and that's what Sri Lanka need to build on. Now, there's hope here. Sri Lanka need to capitalize on it and maintain this discipline and believe. That's the message here, and I hope Sri Lanka take that next step from here on.
It's going to be a massive party in Durban tonight, but there's the Cape Town test in just a couple of days' time. What can we expect from Sri Lanka there?
Well, the celebrations first. Well, I think they should go celebrate. It's something that the Sri Lankans have never done before, a win in South Africa, and as I said, under these circumstances, take a couple of days off, really enjoy yourself, It's Christmas time. Christmas time's a ripper, and you know the Sri Lankans' spirits are up with this win. And then switch on for Cape Town. Now Cape Town, a lot will depend what happens on the pitch. But Sri Lanka will be confident and they will believe a bit more. But I really do hope that a track with South African home advantage, but not specific to Sri Lanka. Think about the South African team give us a pitch, or I would like to see Sri Lanka being given a pitch where, you know, South Africa would take on Australia or even in England. Because you come back to Sri Lanka, any team gets the same pitch. Whether it be Australia, South Africa or England, the pitch will turn and there's nothing specific. It's specific and home advantage to Sri Lanka. And that's what I'd like to see, rather than just a bush green pitch or something like that, which would give an even chance to cricket.
Russel, you were there in 1998 when Sri Lanka beat England at the Oval. You're here today. Tell us how important this is, where this ranks in Sri Lanka's greatest test victories.
Well, that was special too, because that was the first that came up, and again, it was late summer. And Sri Lanka got an opportunity to play on a slightly drier track and brought the spinners in. Muralidharan, in fact, really went through the English, and Sri Lankan batting took them apart. That was special, but I think this will rank a little higher than that, because that was a team full of legends. Like I said, Vas was there, Murali was there, and Arvinders, everyone. Here we were struggling to find a combination. This team was being ridiculed. Fans back home were even walking away. And that's how lonely these guys were, and to lift themselves like this and put up such a disciplined performance, I mean, this will rank higher than that for me in that sense. And Tilakaratne Dilshan, so happy for him, had such a tough time, disappointed that he still hasn't really contributed with the pack, but he's tried hard, and here to lift everyone up, get them gelling as a team. And I mean, the senior players, they've all been fantastic. What can you say? I mean, it's really good.
Russel, there were a lot of disparaging comments before Sri Lanka arrived. People wrote them off more than they wrote about them. They said they would never match up to South Africa, and Tilakaratne Dilshan said at his press conference that served as motivation for the team. Do you agree with him?
Well, certainly, but I think Sri Lanka would have fallen into a deeper hole if they did pay attention to those and were playing better cricket because of that. I think what they did well was they focused on the basics, and that's what they need to do further. Throughout the game, they just stuck to their plans. They wanted to make life difficult. They wanted to try and put pressure on South Africa, and that's what they did. And I think that's all they need to stick to. Yes, it was hurtful to see all these comments, and like I said, even I was only looking for Sri Lanka to try and be competitive, but they've done much more than that.
They absolutely have. Russel Arnold, will see you in Cape Town. Enjoy the celebrations.
And Happy New Year to you.